Guys, here we are. Take 4.
Holy cow.
What a time we've had today. I know. Okay, well, let's move this forward, guys. We've had by the way, we feel like we recorded the best podcast ever without actually recording it. So it will live in our history as the best one that we never heard.
Yes. And you guys take our word for that. So if this isn't that good, just know we're better than this.
That's right. All right, well, cool. Well, guys, quick background on myself, and I want to introduce my 2 associates here. My first thing, I am a lifetime entrepreneur, been in businesses and had business for myself for the last 37 years. I'm 61. So most of my life has been in the self-employment space. I've had a lot of successes, I've had a lot of failures. I've been in a lot of types of businesses, everything from the boat business to, retail to stock market. We talked a little bit about my penny stock days. That was quite a thing. We need to talk about that.
Say it all again.
And then we need to talk about the other businesses that we've had along the way. I want to make it clear I am a college dropout. I did go to college, but only for a short time. Everything that I've learned has come from my own experiences in this space and what I consider to be basically the college of hard knocks, because here we are. Want to introduce my 2 wonderful co-hosts. I've got Sierra, my daughter.
Hello.
Sierra, how old are you? Give us a little bit quick background.
Yes. So I am 34 and I am the oldest daughter. I am very excited to kind of sit down as an adult now with my dad and my sister to learn about being successful and how to run businesses. I do have a pretty new recent business that I've started. So this is the perfect time for me to come in and learn everything from the smartest guy I know, which is my dad. So
Sad thing, but worth it.
So, yeah, that's about me.
Awesome. Then I've got my daughter, Brianna. She's my youngest of 5, by the way.
Yes, you could call me Bree. I am the youngest of 5. I am really excited. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. I have wanted to pick my dad's brain for a very long time. Ever since I was young, he's been an entrepreneur through and through, and I've never really understood how hard it was to be an entrepreneur just because my dad makes it look very easy. Even through the failures, he has made it look easy to get through. So,
That's kind of you.
yeah,
Yes.
excited for that. It's gonna
Well,
be fun.
well, guys, my hope here is to really just kind of really share some of my experiences and what I know about business with my daughters. I think it's important for them. Over the years, we had a lot of things going. I've done real estate. I had a mortgage company for several years, 12 years. I had the boat business. I've done a lot of different things. I've had lots. I've had, buying and selling real estate, commercial, residential, anything you can think of on that side, thousands and thousands actually of transactions I've had in the real estate space and mortgages and all the different stuff. We've also, with True Heroes, we do small business financing for companies. One of our big companies was Rich Dad Poor Dad and that group. And so they've seen a lot of these things along the way. And I think the biggest challenge I've had, and I'm coming to realization is that I didn't realize over all this time and all the different things that we've done that I wasn't sharing how I was doing things with my kids. They had no idea. They didn't know, you know, what the details were and what needed to happen. And they just saw the other side of it. They'd see the failures, they'd see the successes, probably less from a kid's perspective than from my perspective. So,
Yeah, Bree and I were downstairs playing Dance Dance Revolution while dad was trying not to lose his mind during the '08 crash.
that's
So,
right.
he did a good job of protecting us from the stress.
Well, and now we're here. The time is to hopefully educate my kids and help them with some of the things that you don't learn in school. You can't, a lot of the things we're going to talk about are not something that you're going to learn in school. It's not something that you can take a class in. You can certainly take classes on some things, but I will tell you, if somebody's in a classroom teaching you they're not out doing the work in a lot of cases, or if they are, they're getting it from an academic perspective, not a day-to-day perspective. So I'm hoping that a lot of the things that we're going to talk about are things that you can use on a day-to-day, what you need right here, right now to make your business grow. So let's jump right in it. Are we ready? I think the first thing I wanted to do is I just wanted to give a quick overall view as to all the different aspects that we're going to cover as we move forward. We're going to talk about number one, how do you start? Which in my world, in my thought process is vision. So today we're going to talk about vision as the primary option. We're going to talk about everything from vision to organizations to managing people to, striking the deal, negotiating, working with customer, understanding what people are needing, looking what they are on the other side. We're going to talk about credit scoring, how to raise capital for your business, all those different things we're going to cover in each of these episodes as we move forward. I've calculated there's about 20 of them. I'm not doing this to make money. I'm doing this to teach my daughters. So the fact is if you're listening along, you're listening in on what we're going to talk about. Hopefully there's something that could benefit you as well. So with that said, we're going to talk about vision today. And I will say this, guys, we talked in our perfect episode. We talked about kind of what the importance is of having vision. And the bottom line is, and I said this over and over again, the vision is everything. It's the vision. The person who has the vision is who drives the business. And the fact is people follow vision. We were talking earlier about the fact that Star Trek, Captain Kirk, one of the things that he said that I took from from a song that I'll never forget, which he said, in every revolution, there's one man with a vision. And the fact is that in every business, there's one man with a vision. You can talk to me about Elon Musk. You can talk to me about Mark Zuckerberg. You can talk to me about any person who is running or owning a business and they've had a vision and everybody follows. The funny thing is that I was saying this, people follow vision. People understand and follow vision. And so when you have that vision, it needs to come from deep in your heart. It needs to be real, and it needs to be a drive that nothing's going to stop you from achieving your vision. If that's, helping people get financing, if that's, we will talk about at some point, we'll talk about our show in Hawaii. We produced a 1940s big band USO show that came from vision. We can talk about all the different things in life that we've done and that we've been able to accomplish. And every one of them started out with vision. And it wasn't just vision, it's passionate vision, it's drive. You've got to have that drive, and you'd be surprised how often people follow vision. They do. They would much rather follow somebody else's vision because they trust that. It's a lot harder to follow your own visions or ideas than it is to follow somebody else's. So we were talking a little bit about the difference between an idea and a vision last time. Remember that?
Yeah, and I think one thing that kind of, comes up for me too is just trust in yourself, and trust in your dream and the vision that you're trying to create.
Mm-hmm. The fact that trust is such a big piece to that. And we're going to let's talk a little bit about, Bree, you brought up in our perfect episode, you brought up the time that I had the boat business and that I decided to put a boat in a swimming pool. And by doing that, it brought news recognition. It brought a lot of things to the table. And the reason why that's important, I don't know, do you want to go through that again, or do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, I think it was really important to talk about how that looked in your head because to me, especially just a little background, it did go on the news. And so I have seen the video before, which I'll clip it down below. It just it looks different from a perspective that is just like, "Oh yeah, he did that. That's cool." Versus what the steps were in order to actually get to that point.
Well, and I think I want to bring up the fact that was the one moment in my life. That was the moment that helped me and made me realize that I can accomplish whatever I conceive, whatever I dream of, I can make it happen. And from there, my confidence level has never changed. From there
Mhm.
on, there is nothing that I can't do. People come to me with ideas all the time, and they're always coming with ideas. Oh, what about this? What about this? What about this? And the reason they come to me is because they know I can achieve the dreams. I've done it and I can achieve those dreams. I can achieve it. And you guys can too. You guys are going to recognize as we go along, it's not so difficult. It is difficult, but it's from your heart that's difficult. It's because it's in here that's hard.
Mhm.
So what happened there was I at that point, this was in the 90s. So I was young and I had just, well, a few years earlier, I had been in the penny stock business with my father-in-law. And when we were in the penny stock business, it was a tough business. I was young. I was in my early 20s and we were out peddling, penny stocks. And I was mentioning that if you've ever seen the show Boiler Room, which I'm not sure I want you to see it, but if you were going to watch it, it was my life at that point.
Yeah, I know. I remember you telling me about doing penny stocks right around when Wolf of Wall Street came out.
Yeah.
And that was the worst thing to kind of compare what maybe the industry my dad was
Yeah,
in.
yeah. Well, and of course, it wasn't that crazy, thank goodness.
Thank goodness.
But the fact is that the idea behind pretty much pushing a stock that was worthless to something was. And all those scenes the scenes with the craziness, no. But the stuff that you would have, the phone calls, the convincing somebody that they needed it, all those different things. Yeah, that was my life. And it is PTSD for me now when I watch those. So don't watch Wolf of Wall Street, but you can certainly watch. I think Boiler Room might be a little bit. It's still really tough, but I
PG-13.
think it's PG-13. Yeah, yeah, so
Okay.
that's better. But yeah, so penny stocks is where we went, where I was originally. I hated it, and I wanted to figure out how to get out of it, and I did. Of course, it was right around the time when penny stocks went into a. They got a really bad name anyway, so it was good that I left right before it actually got really bad. Went in and started joining my father, who owned a boat business. He owned actually the factory of Hydro Swift boats, and he was the factory. And I came in and I became the the dealership. I was the one that sold the boats. So the boats he built them, we sold them. I built that business up. We were growing it. It was not a boat that was very easy to look at. It was more traditional style, but it had a unique hull, and that hull, which was that's the design at the bottom, was patented. It's the only boat in the country from the patent standpoint that could do that, where it would plane very quickly. It would turn very sharp without it. It wasn't going to bank on its side. It turns flat. So it had this amazing performance. And that performance was so amazing. People would ride in the boat and it would sell them in a heartbeat. But I always had to go out and do demos. And I was doing demos at a lake called East Canyon up here in Utah. And in Utah, there was this cove that we would take our demos at. And what I would do is I'd take them out. They'd handled really well on in the rough water and all those great things. But then I would take them into this cove. I'd take them in at full speed, 40 miles an hour, 45 miles an hour, whatever it was at the time. And I would take them in full speed, go about 25 to 30 feet off the beach, and U-turn it and come right back out at full speed, exactly the same as I was going in. And it freaked people out. It was incredible. But I couldn't get that to really stick. And I couldn't figure out how to take that experience and put it at a boat show where people can't experience that. And I didn't like the fact that we had to constantly take people boating. So I was gone every weekend because I'd take people out demoing every weekend in order to sell a boat. And I didn't want to do that. But my boat was so traditionally built. It didn't, from the standpoint of looks, it wasn't the best looking boat, but it was the best performing boat. So one night I have this dream. And this dream was, how can I figure out how to make this something that people can experience and recognize without being on the boat? And then the idea of the pool came in. And I decided I could probably put this boat in a pool, get it up on the plane, spin it around in the pool, and stop before hitting the sides or anything like that. But the performance was so powerful, quick, fast, and able to respond and get that taken care of that I'm like, I can do this. And once I caught that vision that I was going to do that and I was going to put that in our video, that's when the passion kicked in. That's where it went from a dream which everybody has dreams, guys, to vision with passion. Once I had the vision and passion, all the different steps that needed to take place came in step by step by step. The thing about it is that each step along the way, the vision had to be strong because I had overcome this challenge and this challenge. First off, I had to make sure the boat would do it. We would go test it in the lake. Then we had to find a pool that would allow for us to do that. The first time we did, the pool said absolutely not. Then I was able to convince someone else to do it if we only put it in and we just let it sit in there. And then I had to make sure that the insurance was going to bite off on that. And I had to sell that, and I had to go through all the steps to get there. Once we had it all in place, I'm like, if we're going to do this, this thing could crash and burn. So let's make sure we got the news. So we made sure and let the news know that this was coming along so that they would come. And of course, they're going, this could be a problem waiting to happen here. Let's cover this.
Did you have a lot of people tell you that you may be crazy doing this?
Yes. My dad was one of them. He's the one that owned the factory. And he was over there. No, but because my vision was so strong, he said, I would do that if I were you, but he couldn't stop me from doing it because the dream was strong. The vision was there. And I'm like, I'm going to do this. Mm-hmm. So he wanted to witness it just like everybody else. I mean, we had the people that owned the pool. You know, this was Cottonwood Heights. It's an Olympic-sized swimming pool. I had my mechanic in the water making sure that the drive wasn't going to hit the bottom. We had camera people up on the top and over on each side and all this kind of stuff. Everything had to be just right. But this was the culmination of a lot of time and effort to make it work. Mm-hmm. Just the crane alone. I was thinking, hey, let's just get a crane. No, we had to get the biggest crane they possibly had to carry a boat that was 5,000 pounds or whatever that is up over the top of the gates and then drop it into the pool. Mm-hmm. And that was like 80 feet away. So it was a massive project to do it and to take it out, by the way, and then to have it go and to make it work. So, but like I say, for me, it is a pretty special moment, but to me, it's a lot more special of a moment. What it did do for the HydroSwift name is phenomenal. What it did for my business was phenomenal because people now knew my boat was the boat that was in the pool. Mm-hmm. But what it did for me inside was the biggest thing because it really gave me confidence and the recognition that there is nothing I can't do. There's nothing that I can't do. There's nothing that you can't do. It is just a matter of determination, vision, and drive. People follow the vision. The thing I think I've learned more than anything, whatever business that we're working, whatever project we're doing, whatever's going on, people want to follow someone who has that vision because they may not have that confidence level. So they don't know. You talk to a guy who's a W-2 guy. Sorry, anybody that's listening. I'm not trying to offend anybody. You got a guy who's a W-2 guy. Let's say he's a UPS driver, something like that.
Yeah.
He doesn't need a vision. He doesn't need to drive. He's following somebody else's vision. He's following somebody else's drive. Someone else had to have that vision. Somebody else had to have that drive. Somebody else had to have that determination and be willing to take the risk. What I really want you guys to recognize is just because you have the vision and you have the passion doesn't mean it's always going to work, but it also doesn't mean there's a problem with failure. I have failed, guys. We've talked about this a lot. I have failed as much or more than I've succeeded. It's just that my successes have way outweighed my failures. And it's because of the failures that's helped me become so much better at the successes. So those successes have been just a massive, okay, that's something I'm not going to do. It's just like this. This is recording number 4. We've learned 4 times now how not to do this. And here we are. Uh-huh. So the fact is that each time we take that next step, we get better at it. Guys, by the way, we'll have better microphones next time. Right now, one of my biggest mantras is the whole Facebook mantra, which is move fast and break things. We're going to take a shot at it first. Mm-hmm. We're going to see if it works. Whatever breaks, we'll fix. And we'll just keep on moving forward.
I would love to also hear when you've had a vision that may not have turned out the way that you expected, but still gave you even a better idea of confidence in who you are, even though it didn't necessarily go the way that you expected.
We talked about the origin of True Heroes. True Heroes is the name of my company, True Heroes. Right now, we do small business consulting, financing. We help people build their businesses and get started in business. I'm there to help people get that done. But True Heroes was not always called True Heroes. True Heroes, the original name was actually called RNA Properties. And that was a completely different thing. And we were working on something completely different. I felt like one day I wanted to own a piece of property. And so that's where that began. But we actually switched it to True Heroes because we were trying to put together a posters and little figures kind
Almost
of true heroes.
yeah, like little almost like bookmarks, little reminder type cards
Yep.
basically too.
And it was designed to be that reminder of, hey, here's the true heroes in your life. And so we had tell me that
Biblical
story again. That was
They
funny.
had biblical um
Heroes.
characters,
Yep.
Um so yeah, I definitely remember that holds a really close place in my heart because I was around 12 and they brought over all these male models
Yep.
to our home and it was the best day of my life, I think, at that time.
Well, and that was a passion we were going to do. We were going to make these posters, and then we had to have the outfits completely designed for the time period. We had to find the people. We went to college, the college right close by there, and we had to hire some college guys.
Yeah, and remember the outfits
Yeah,
back in those days.
those outfits were nice.
Little.
Yeah, I'm sure you enjoyed those. And anyway, we had to find locations. We did all that. We hired the photographers. We had to hire, like I say, the costumers to take care of it because we had to have it authentic. Everything had to be just right. We were in southern Utah, so finding kind of that Israel style background, we had locations figured out, and we produced them all the way to where we had boxes of them. It didn't work. It didn't work. We went through all that hassle. We went through all that. We went through all of those, and we didn't win. We actually couldn't sell them. We couldn't get them in the right places. Does that mean it was a bad deal? No. What I learned from that was I learned that I'm not going to go into a gunfight with a knife. I didn't have enough money. I didn't have what I needed to get that thing on board and to get it on track. So I was trying to bootstrap it. I was trying to get the local bookstores to carry it. We went through all the different ways to market. We're going to talk about marketing. We're going to talk about negotiating marketing, understanding your demographic, knowing who you're trying to sell to, and then reaching to that person. You don't need to focus on the world. You need to focus on the ones that are actually going to buy your product. We're going to cover all those kind of things as we go forward because I did have to learn, and that was a big failure. Was it all my failures? No. Was it the most expensive failure? Heck no. That was not a big failure. But at the same time, what it did do is it did, again, teach me what not to do. It also taught me where I need to put my focus and I need to put my energy. And I got to realize that you don't start with not enough money.
Yeah, one thing too is I feel like a lot of people can dream, like vision boards, all of those things are really popular.
Yep.
And I feel like I do that often too, where I'll think, oh my gosh, this is the greatest idea. I've got this. This is it. This is going to be my success.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know where to go from there. I don't know how to make the dream go from just a thought. So, how do you kind of let the dream run or plant the seed for the dream?
So that's important. And I will tell you this, I've had a lot of ideas and I've had a lot of ideas given to me because of where I've come from. And what I always say is take a minute, plant that seed and see if it continues to grow. Let's see if it builds. If you can't stop thinking about it, if it's in your brain, you're dreaming about it, it's there every day, and every day you can't stop thinking about it, then I'm going to tell you, okay, great. That's idea. We're going to start. We got to know what today looks like. Then let's look what tomorrow looks like because you got to basically look at it from a 1,000-foot view and you got to say, this is my idea. I now need to do this. I need to put together whatever plans. I got to put whatever pitch decks I'm going to do, if I'm going to do any kind of money raising or whatever I'm going to do from that perspective, I'm going to take it all the way down. What does it look like when it's running? What does it look like as it's going? Let's assume that it's going to be perfect. What's it going to look like in that perfect position? And then what am I going to do there? Is that a rental house that I'm going to keep forever? Or is that a flip property that I'm going to sell? Or is that a business that I'm going to hold? Or is that a business I'm going to sell? And then what's my end look like at the very end? Does that end match up with my beginning here? If they're all there and it's working, then you take that overall 1,000-foot view and you drill it right down to steps. Okay, step number 1 is this. Step number 2 is this. You got to start at the beginning. You got to know, and we're going to talk about this later when it comes to raising money and having money to build your business. You got to know how much it's going to cost you, and you got to know what's your exit strategy if there is one. If there isn't an exit strategy, then your exit strategy is legacy because you're going to build it for your family. But you've got to have those things locked into place. Right now, you've got to be able to convert it from an idea to a vision. And the passion is included with the vision. You have to have the passion, or the vision still isn't there. You can lose the vision, you can lose the passion for the vision, and you'll watch it start to decay away. That vision has to stay, and the passion needs to be there.
I think the biggest thing for me that does get that vision or passion to fall away is the fear of spending money, the fear of
risk.
Yeah, also failure, obviously, the fear of my own capability of being able to do it. And Bree, I know you also talked about like even just the fear of the hard work of like, what is this actually going to look like for me to have follow through in this?
Yeah, I think an example that I can give is I started crocheting.
Mm-hmm.
I had a vision of selling my plushies.
Yeah.
I had looked into potentially doing like a farmer's market, but not super into it.
Mm-hmm.
I even got an Instagram account, started posting it, but then I immediately started having fears of like, who would even want to buy this? There's so many other crochet shops out there. How do I even market this? I don't even know what to even look for, to a point where, like you're kind of saying, you just completely stop the vision at that point.
So I think it's important that that dream and that vision has to be so strong that you're going to. This is America. We're winners, and we're always going to be looking for winners. And the fact is that no matter what business is out there, there's going to be another one that comes along too. And I said this the other day to you guys. There's always a bigger fish. So if you feel like, oh, I'm too small to be in here, you're right. But the fact is, this is a world of abundance. And I said this earlier as well. There is enough for everybody. There really is enough for everybody. Everybody can win. Everybody can succeed. Everybody can have their share, and there's still plenty of it out there. So this is really about, when it comes to the fear, it's about, okay, let's map out what that looks like so that you can feel confident. It's still a risk, but you got to feel confident that what you're going to do is going to work because you've done all of the steps. You've gone through and you've done the projections. You can see what each, in your case, crochet piece is going to make. How much are you going to make for each one? How much do you have to sell to make money? Who are you going to sell them to? How are you going to market to those people? On and on. We can cover all that in the coming episodes. But it really, today we're dealing with just getting over that hurdle, getting beyond the idea stage into the vision stage. Once you're in the vision stage, then you'll take the macro and bring it down to the micro, and then you'll take it step by step till you get it figured out. And then you're ready to rock and roll. Once you know and you feel it at the end, quite frankly, that's the secret to get to getting investors. If you ever go that route, you got to get them to see your vision. But whether it's investors or whether it's your own money or whether it's your bank of love or whatever you choose to do, however that works, the fact is that it's got to be step by step, and that vision has to be so strong in your heart that they know that you know it's going to work. They know you know it's going to work. And from there, you can take it. All right, guys. Today we have reached, can believe it or not, we're there. We're there.
And you know what? I will say this because there's nothing that we can prove right now, but I do think this one was better
We'll
than
never
the
know.
the one that is lost into the universe. So, I feel good about it. I feel good. I'm excited.
Me too. How about you, Bree?
I am already ready for the next episode. I'm excited. I feel like starting with the vision and becoming more aware of what that looks like and how to move forward with it. I mean, even for myself, wanting to start my own business and potentially selling plushies, that has been actually a dream of mine for the past couple of years.
Cool.
Being able to learn from you on a step by step basis, that's going to be huge for me. So,
Cool.
yeah.
Love it. Well, then we'll call it. First
Okay.
episode in the bag.
When we do get 2 mics,
This won't be like
we're
this.
gonna be talking a lot more. So you might actually enjoy the quietness of the 2 girls for a minute in this first episode.
Sounds good.
If you've made it this far, like and subscribe. Shoot a comment if there's anything that you want to let us know for a second episode. We appreciate you guys taking the time to listen.